Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since my last video, but I have been prepping a couple things before I could get back to making more videos, and one of those is getting a standing desk. I was really tired of having to like crouch down over my crafting table, and it wasn't doing good things to my back. So what I really wanted for Christmas was a stand-up desk. Now our office is in the basement, and where I have my crafting area, it's like a specific spot. So I think it was about 34 inches that we had to fill here. But all the standing desks that I was finding were about like 40-ish, and it would have been too big. So my husband Brandon and I had to figure out how to build one, and we've never done something like that before. After some research and stuff, he actually remembered we had these old cabinets that the previous owner of the house left downstairs. He actually built this huge bar with these cabinets, and he had like a wooden countertop on it. We broke that down and just put it aside, and it was just kind of taking up space. And it was like too much space, that like we couldn't use it for storage because it was just too much. We can get better storage that would take up less space, if that makes sense. And no one else wanted them, but Brandon did some measurements, and he realized the two end pieces, when put together, would fit perfectly right in this space. So what he did, he took it all apart and he put those two pieces together, and then we went to Home Depot to take a look at the laminate countertops that they had. They had a nice white countertop with gray flecks in it that worked great. However, I didn't know this, but apparently Home Depot and even Lowe's do not cut the countertops for you. I guess they don't have the right machinery, which is kind of weird being Home Depot, but I guess they've done it in the past, and it does chip away at the countertop and kind of ruins it. So we had to figure out how to cut this down to, I think it came out to be like 33, 34 inches. We didn't have the tools for that. So Brandon called up our friend Eric, who has tons of tools, and he suggested, now I could be wrong about this, but I wasn't there when they did it. He mentioned clamping, I don't know if it was a wood or 2x4 or something, to the countertop where you want to cut it, so you had a straight edge to follow, and you just very, 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 very slowly cut it with a circular saw, using a very fine tooth blade, so it wouldn't make it all jagged. And they managed to do it, and it looked great. They just had to sand it a little bit, and it was perfect. So Brandon brought that back, and he topped off the cabinets with just some L brackets and screws, which is a lot more challenging than it sounds, because there's like very little space in here for him to get in, but he managed to do it, and it's on solid. It works great. So then it was my turn to take over, which is what the rest of this video is going to show you. How I fixed it up. I'm trying to make it a little prettier because it was ugly. It was really, really ugly. So I started off with cleaning the entire insides of these. They were gross, and they had these very sticky old liners inside of it. I wound up not being able to get one of them off, but you don't see it, so I didn't really care. So I just cleaned it with like an all-purpose cleaner, wiped it down, let it completely dry. Then I went about sanding the front, as well as the doors and the drawers, after taking all the hardware off. Wipe them down, let them dry, and then I went to paint everything. Now for the outside here, I went with Martha Stewart Home Decor paint in an eggshell color. This entire tub, I think I have maybe a quarter left. Did this whole front a couple coats, as well as the inside of the cabinets. I did a very quick coat, just one coat on the inside here, because it was like that, it was just brown, it was ugly. So I just wanted to brighten up a little bit, but I did the entire inside as well as the outside here with just this. And it worked great. I love it. You don't have to put any like sealant or top coat on it, because apparently you don't need it with this, so I didn't. So after I painted the inside all white, I just felt like it needed something more. I mean, there's so much stuff in there now you don't notice it, but at the time it was a good idea. I just took red tissue paper and used the hard coat Mod Podge, and I just put a layer of tissue paper down on, you know, the bottom and on the shelf that I have in this one drawer. It took a lot of time to do that because I didn't want to like rip or tear it. So I just put a thin layer of the Mod Podge down, then the tissue paper, then another very, very thin layer of Mod Podge. Let it dry forever before I put another coat. Let that dry again, put another coat. I don't even know how many coats I put on it. I just kept doing it until I felt that it would be, you know, strong enough to withstand, you know, me pulling crates and stuff out. And then I knew I wanted the drawers and the doors to be color, and my two colors of my office scheme are red and Tiffany blue. Now I used Folk Arts milk paint, which I love. It was the first time ever using it. They didn't really have the right blue I wanted, so I just kind of went with something I liked. But what I did for the doors, I used the milk paint in Shaker Red, and then the doors I actually used two colors. At first I used the Veranda Blue, which was a very, very pretty pale blue, but it was too pale. It wasn't like vibrant enough for me, I guess, or it just didn't stand out enough. So what I did was, on the top of it I did Lexington Blue, just like a quick coat. Now the thing with the milk paints, apparently they have a like base and sealer, which I didn't know about until after all of this. So sanding these kind of helped, but I did have to do several coats to get to this. So I would suggest if you want to use these paints, get that base sealant. It would probably help. So yeah, for this I just used the red, but for these I did the couple coats of the Veranda Blue, and then on top of this, because I kind of wanted it looking worn still, with the second color I quickly painted it on and just wiped at it, and I think I sprayed it with water a little bit just to get like this kind of effect. I really loved how it came out. I did let them completely dry for roughly 2 days because I was afraid of messing it up. But after 2 days, I used Folk Art Home Decor wax, a clear wax, and just put a thin coat of that over it, and it's been great. You just let it dry completely before messing with it, but I haven't been able to scuff it up, so it works really well. So then it was just a matter of putting it all together. These cabinets are old and worn, so like they warped, so there's a little bit of a gap when we tried to put it together, but I don't care, I still love it. But yeah, it actually stores a lot more than I expected it to. It actually freed up a lot of space that I had over here already. Even though it's taller, it doesn't come out as far, which is great because my computer's right behind me here. And that's basically it. I super love it. My husband came up with a great idea. It works great, and if I can repurpose something, I am all for it. I think the most expensive part of it was the countertop, which I want to say was about $50-ish. Don't quote me on that, I don't remember. And I already had all the paints except for a couple of them, so I really did not have to spend a lot of money on this. So like if you see old cabinets at some thrift store or something and you want to make a stand-up desk, go for it. It's so easy and cheap. So that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Now that I have my new office space set up, I will be getting back to more videos, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification to be notified of new videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!